Hey, yo, what's up? How's everybody doing? We have been doing some research on the topic of Africa. And I got some things that I want y'all to take a look at. Actually, I'm going to watch it together with y'all. Because there's definitely some stuff that's going on around the world that may have an impact on what's going on right here. So this is on a few different platforms. I want y'all to check this out and really give it a good look. I'm changing the topic now. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Make sure you tell a friend, because this is about our people. And I think a lot of people need to see this. I'm going to go ahead and get the video started. From this video, we're going to do some clips and things like that. So you may see it go on commercial sometime, but that's okay because we're going to edit it and things like that. But we use Facebook so we can save some memory on my phone. So we're going to watch it at the same time. I want y'all to see this. This is crazy, y'all. But it's good information. So let's check it out together. My name is Johnny Johnny, and this is Live with Johnny Johnny.
What if I told you that in 2025, students in Burkina Faso are no longer just studying for exams? They're training for war, not of bullets, but of minds. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a bold revolution is underway. It's a battle against the colonial systems that linger in education, politics, and identity. And it starts with the youth. Welcome to Make Africa Great, where we spotlight stories shaping Africa's future. Today, we dive into the strategy that could redefine African patriotism and set a new tone for liberation on the continent.
And through these initiatives for education, we want to build our schools, our grandes écoles here, to train our elites so that they can serve Burkina Faso. That is why I would urge you to go all out so that we can establish these elite schools, so that these talented individuals do not end up going abroad. Because for a long time, imperialists have always drawn talent from here through scholarships. Once they are home, they do not return to the country. I do not want these brains that are here to end up abroad and not serve our country. Make sure that these initiatives succeed and that we can establish the polytechnic and technological universities we need so that these children can express all their talents and work for the benefit of our homeland. That I wish for patriotic values to be instilled in the younger generation. Today more than ever, our nation is facing difficulties it has never known in its history. And to overcome, we need to have patriots, citizens of tomorrow. And to have these citizens, these patriots, the role now falls to you. Train pioneers. Teach them to love their homeland. Teach them to have confidence in themselves. Teach them to love their neighbors. Teach them to live as Burkinabe. This mission now helps you to evolve. Teach them everything you can so that they become very good citizens of tomorrow and ensure the succession. Your role is...
Wow, what a powerful liberation speech from Captain Ibrahim Traoré to African students. What Captain Ibrahim is doing is to prepare a new liberation army for the continent of Africa by liberating the minds of African students. Don't skip this video. Watch this video from the beginning to the end. We are going to share this full powerful speech from Captain Ibrahim Traoré to African students, that liberating the minds of our students. Don't skip, as I said, watch this video from the beginning to the end. And you can understand what is the difference between leader and politician. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is not a politician, he is a leader. And here is a politician. Listen.
You asked me the question. Let me answer. Let me ask you. So, did you say you want
more Kenyans to come and work in China. Very good. So, I hope you help me answer the many people in Kenya who tell me that I am exporting Kenyans. You know, I have a big problem with I have a big problem with people who are telling me that I should be creating jobs for people in Kenya, which I'm trying. But if there is opportunity elsewhere, I mean, is there anything wrong with Kenyans accessing opportunities elsewhere? I hope some people are listening to.
Watch this video from the beginning to the end, and also share the video to fellow Africans who are in the different parts of this world. This is a revolutionary speech.
Nature is very complex. You may not realize it, but I am going to explain why and entrust you with new missions. Your role as a teacher is indeed very complex, in the sense that you must impart knowledge to the younger ones and educate them. Remember that a nation that indeed fails to educate its youth is truly doomed to disappear. This nation will never know peace. Absolutely. Your role is very complex, because in addition to imparting knowledge, you must educate the children. You will have to be their parents. You must teach them good manners, what is right and what is wrong. You will need to instill the values of our society in them. I insisted, through the Minister of Education, that you visit the museum to reconnect with our cultural values. This is very important for you. And so we have values on which Burkina relies. Integrity, honesty. You must instill these values in the young people you mentor. At the same time, you become their parents. In addition to that, I wish for patriotic values to be instilled in the younger generation. Today, more than ever, our nation is facing
We learned that, but we forgot it over here.
difficulties it has never known in its history. And to overcome, we need to have patriots, citizens of tomorrow. And to have these citizens, these patriots, the role now falls to you. Train pioneers. Teach them to love their homeland. Teach them to have confidence in themselves. Teach them to love their neighbors. Teach them to live as Burkinabe. This mission now helps you to evolve. Teach them everything you can so that they become very good citizens of tomorrow and ensure the succession. Your role is indeed very complicated, because you now have to play the psychologist. In your classes, you indeed have children who have lost everything. You have many children who have lost their parents, who have lost their families. You have children who have experienced atrocities. You have children who have witnessed heinous crimes, who are traumatized, who are in shock. You must act as psychologists. You must ensure that these children forget this violence, become themselves again, and instill in them everything they need to be the citizens of tomorrow. So understand why I say that your role is very, very essential and full of priestly duties. Dear teachers, you who represent the world of education here today, those who impart knowledge, who must educate on the values specific to Burkina Faso, who must educate on patriotic values, be greeted once again. Take your profession seriously, for the future of our nation depends on you. If you educate these young children well, we will have a better Burkina Faso tomorrow. And if you fail, our homeland will have failed. Remember, the imperialists are waging what they call today the fourth generation war. The main objective of this war is to ensure that for generations and generations, our nations can never build themselves. They want to ensure that these children grow up in an atmosphere of terror and violence, unable to distinguish between right and wrong. And only you, by playing, can these psychologists help them distinguish between good and evil in order to be good citizens. Because for them, if children grow up in such an environment, we will have several generations that will never be able to make peace, who will kill each other, because the rule for them will be war. Look at some nations in Africa that have not known peace for decades. That is exactly what they did over there. Let us ensure that in Burkina Faso, we are not in this situation. The future of our nation rests in your hands. And I ask you to take this mission to heart and to transform our future generation, our society, so that we may have tomorrow citizens worthy of that name. and you promise me here that you will do it. Thank you very much. To you, dear students, congratulations for the work accomplished under difficult conditions, but you have managed to stand out. Through this day, you motivate your peers to be able to be in your place next year. It is a healthy competition that you are instilling in your peers, and we wish them good luck and a lot of courage as well. Therefore, be dignified, Burkinabe, for those who have experienced the effects of this barbarism. Make the effort to stay close to your comrades and to be united. Those who have not experienced these situations should be the ones advising others, leading others to have fun and forget about these situations. Make sure to be united, to be integral Burkinabés, to be men of value, respect your parents and elders, and work as hard as you can. Respect your parents because you must also help them. We often talk about certain texts that call for banning child labor. That's good. But I can tell you that our society is built on values. And within those values, you must do a minimum of work for the parents. Me, the one you see in front of you, I have washed my mother's pots. I have pounded for her. I was shot for her. I sold this donut. My comrades mocked me because it was women's work. I did it. It didn't stop me from being first in my class. It didn't stop me from being who I am. Help your parents. Help them with their tasks. And especially during these holiday moments, learn to work. Learn to do something with your 10 fingers. It will help you. In your schools, the environment must be clean. Your classrooms and the surroundings around you. Make sure to always stay clean. Plant as many trees as you can. And your teachers will help you learn the basics of agricultural production, particularly in gardening. Awaken in you this Burkinabe spirit, awaken in you this love for the homeland. You can and you must encourage all your peers to be very good citizens out of solidarity. And I count on you to be the driving force that will lead your peers towards excellence. And as for you, sponsors and members of the government, we indeed have a mission to truly mentor these young people and support them. I can tell you that when we definitely lower the fever of this war and significantly control our military spending, we will need to invest heavily in certain areas. We have stratified the areas and functions, and in the first layer, we find, of course, our defense forces, our internal security forces, the teaching community in general, the health sector, and the agricultural sector. We will therefore be able to focus on improving the living and working conditions of the actors in this world that
Take what you do best and create a website that's worthy of it.
I have mentioned, specifically the 4 main areas I just cited. The other layers will come gradually. That is why we have launched several initiatives, both in the agricultural sector and in the fields of education, health, and community development. And through these initiatives for education, we want to build our schools, our grandes écoles here, to train our elites so that they can serve Burkina Faso. That is why I would urge you to go all out so that we can establish these elite schools, so that these talented individuals do not end up going abroad. Because for a long time, imperialists have always drawn talent from here through scholarships. Once they are home, they do not return to the country. I do not want these brains that are here to end up abroad and not serve our country. Make sure that these initiatives succeed and that we can establish the polytechnic and technological universities we need so that these children can express all their talents and work for the benefit of our homeland. It is almost like another And finally, to the brave defense and security forces, to the volunteers for the defense of the homeland, I am going to express my gratitude in anger and pay tribute to them here. Because thanks to them, we are able to open these schools to study and know today these days of excellence. Thanks to them, Burkina Faso stands strong. Therefore, we can only thank them. And through these 2 defense and security forces who were recipients of the decorations, you will understand that they have given their all throughout this year so that children in their area can access education and achieve good results in their exams.
Yes, that is one of the best powerful and revolutionary speech that touched the hearts of African students across the world, that liberated the minds of students starting from Burkina Faso to Dar es Salaam, to Dakar in Senegal, to Johannesburg in South Africa, to Nairobi in Kenya, to Addis in Ethiopia, and across the entire continent of Africa. What Captain Ibrahim Traore is doing is to liberate the minds of Africans. And to achieve that, Captain Ibrahim Traore and his government has introduced a policy that requires university students to undergo compulsory military training. So, kings and queens, right now in Burkina Faso, students it is compulsory for them to acquire a military training. So here is the full story about that matter. Welcome and listen.
For decades, Burkina Faso has been trapped in a cycle of foreign dependence, political instability, and suppressed identity. French influence lingered, not just in economics or foreign policy, but in the minds of the people. Schools taught more about European history than African resilience. Students grew up without a clear vision of what it means to be Burkinabe, or African. And in the void, foreign interests found comfort while African potential slept. By the early 2000s and 20s, Burkina Faso had seen multiple coups. But nothing had prepared the world for what was coming next. Ibrahim Traore was not born into power. He earned it through purpose. A soldier, a strategist, but above all, a patriot. When he rose to leadership in 2022, many saw just another military leader. But those who listened closely realized, this man spoke the language of Thomas Sankara, the language of revolutionary hope. He didn't just want to change policy, he wanted to change minds. His mission, to revive national identity, crush dependency, and build a truly sovereign African future. And he started where change is most powerful, with the youth. Traore's announcement of compulsory military training for students shocked the world. Critics called it authoritarian. Supporters called it visionary. But the truth lies deeper. This isn't about turning kids into soldiers. It's about turning them into defenders of identity, culture, and country. Military training teaches more than combat. It builds discipline, unity, and mental strength, values that Burkina Faso desperately needed after years of fragmentation. Think of it as nation building from the ground up, using structure, strategy, and a shared mission. Today, thousands of students rise each morning to train their bodies and sharpen their minds. They are taught African history, national pride, and the importance of standing for something greater than self. This is not about glorifying violence, it's about glorifying responsibility. Young men and women who once saw no future are now shaping one. They speak of Traoré with the same energy that Ghanaians once spoke of Nkrumah, that Burkinabés once spoke of Sankara. It's a generation waking up, armed not just with rifles, but with vision. Western media has labeled Traoré's movement as militarization, a threat to democracy. But on the ground in Ouagadougou, the youth see it differently. They see hope, structure, purpose. Some African leaders remain silent, afraid or unsure. Others quietly applaud. The truth? The world isn't ready for a sovereign Africa, because a sovereign Africa can't be controlled. Traoré's movement in Burkina Faso is a test. If it succeeds, it could spark a wave across the Sahel and beyond. This is more than a national program. It's a message to the continent. Africa's liberation will not come from foreign aid or borrowed policies. It will come from African hearts, African discipline, and African unity. The youth of Burkina Faso are now walking proof that mental chains can be broken, and that a new army doesn't need to march on others, but toward a stronger self. If this revolution continues, if it spreads, if it grows, then we may be witnessing the first steps of a truly unified and sovereign Africa. What's happening in Burkina Faso today might be misunderstood by the world, but history has a way of rewarding the bold. Captain Traoré's vision is not perfect, no revolution is. But what matters is the direction, a direction where Africa defines itself, defends itself, and finally owns its story. Subscribe to Make Africa Great for more stories reshaping our continent, because this, right now, is just the beginning.
Yes, what a move Captain Ibrahim Traore has taken. Captain Ibrahim Traore is more than a visionary leader, he's a prophet. And that's why you see he came with this idea where our students are going to acquire this patriotic education, where they will be trained in military and civic education. Why? Because we want to install patriotism to our young men and women. We don't want to see young men and women who will become leaders steal from us and go to Europe or hide something, money and resources to Europe. We want Africans who will be patriotic, who will see each other as brothers and sisters. And that's what Captain Ibrahim Traore is doing. We want Africans who will say, I'm going to die for my nation, for my continent. So Captain Ibrahim Traore is introducing a new system. And this system, I hope, if it will be applied for 5 years, many youth in Burkina Faso will participate well in national building, in security, in peace. Because for many years, our youth have been used by destabilizers to bring them into fights and chaos. So through this civic education, patriotic education, I hope the young people in Burkina Faso will know the importance of them to be in Burkina Faso and what they can contribute positively to the community and to the nation of Burkina Faso. So kings and queens, now you can see the difference between leader and the politician. As I said at the beginning, always politicians are looking for popularity. Politicians think about elections, but a leader think about the coming generation. So Captain Ibrahim Traore is planting a seed of patriotism. We know right now our nations, our continent is at crossroad where we see conflict in different places, but who cause those conflicts and who are fighting there? It's young people. And that's why a few days ago I shared my thought that we don't need we young people to be used by old politicians. We need to know what we can do, what we can contribute as a young people to our nation, to our governments, instead of being used by politicians to fight ourselves or to fight their battle. For instance, you see what happened in Sudan, that two generals misunderstanding each other and collecting young people to fight on behalf. So if these young people in Sudan have patriotic education, I think they will say, we are not going to fight each other. We are Sudanese, we are Africans. What are we doing? Why you want to kill each other? We are Africans. We don't want to fight each other. So instead we need to come together to unite to protect one another. But you see what's happening right now in Sudan, what's happening in DRC, where the government of DRC is going to offer mineral to America, to USA, in order US to install a military in DRC. And those military from US will fight fellow Africans. So you see, why don't we come together and say these resources must be used for the benefit of our own people? So you find leaders who are not patriotic. They find somewhere it is better for these resources to be taken by America, not by Africans. It is better for these resources to be taken by Belgium, not by Africans. And that's why I was wondering when I saw Africans lamented about Kagame, that Kagame is causing trouble in DRC, Kagame is looting minerals in DRC, instead of saying the truth that it's the external forces that are creating these chaoses for Congo and Rwanda not to unite, not to come together, for them to get a room to loot minerals from DRC. And I asked, who assassinated Patrice Emery Lumumba? Is it Kagame? No. Who built aeroplane ports, or these we call airports, in the jungle in DRC? Is it Kagame? No. Who owns those planes that is going down and up, landing and take off with minerals? Is it Kagame? No. Why you blame Kagame? Because we are Africans. We are taught to hate each other. We are taught to believe what others are telling us. And that's why you see Africans are believing that Kagame is looting minerals. Who is looting the minerals of Niger? Who was looting the minerals in Burkina Faso? Who is stealing minerals in Mali? In Central Africa? Is it Kagame? Who caused trouble in Libya? Is it Kagame? So Africans, I think we need to educate each other. We need to have this kind of education that Captain Ibrahim Traore has introduced, a civic and patriotic education where we can understand the reality. We can know what is going on in this continent. Right now, people will talk many things about Captain Ibrahim Traore. The way you heard what America said about Captain Ibrahim Traore, that Captain Ibrahim Traore is using gold reserve to protect himself. The aim of that mission is to divide the people of Burkina Faso into two groups in order for people to hate Burkina Faso, in order for the people to hate their leader. And that's the intention. The intention of that statement is to divide the people of Burkina Faso, so that if Burkina Faso is divided, it will be easy for those who want to remove Captain Ibrahim Traore to give support to these people who are against Burkina Faso, or I mean against Captain Ibrahim Traore. Then they introduce civil war in Burkina Faso. And that is the intention. And that's why you see the mission was failed. Thanks to all Africans, thanks to brothers and sisters around the globe for coming together. So we need this education to reach many Africans as we can. So make sure that you share this message, you share the video, so that all of us we can understand what is going on. We need other nations to take the same steps to prepare the new leader, to new generation that can be patriotic, that can save their nation, that can save the continent of Africa. So the current generation has disappointed us, and that's why I remember the words of Madam Dr. Rikana Chiombo. She apologized on behalf that her generation has disappointed Africans, has looted. And if you look those who have at the age of more than 50, many of them are corrupt. They steal from us, they took money, they hide in Europe, they hide in islands. So because they are not patriotic, we want patriotic leaders. Not all, some of them. You see, when our leaders are sick, are running away to Europe to get treatment, and yet they use our money, taxpayer money, to treat themselves. Why don't they build a good hospital here? Why don't they build good hospitals here in the continent of Africa? Do you want to tell me the entire continent of Africa has no good hospital where our leaders can go and be treated? Do you want to tell me that the entire continent of Africa, we don't have good doctors? All good doctors are in India, in Europe, in America. It doesn't make sense, because we find there it is Africans who are working there. So I think the time has come. When did you see Trump coming to Nigeria to get treatment? Or Macron coming to Kigali to get treatment? Or Xi Jinping coming to Djibouti to be treated? So if others cannot come to us, why we Africans will go to them? So our leaders must become patriotic. Let us build good hospitals. Let us build good schools here in the continent of Africa. Let us prepare a good environment for your people. And what Captain Ibrahim Traore is doing is an amazing job. Is an amazing job that all of us, we need to support. We need to support him. We need to support his government. And I saw some of our politicians have self-hate to Captain Ibrahim Traore. They have started to arrest those who came out and to support Captain Ibrahim Traore. That is not good. We are Africans. Don't arrest your people for supporting fellow Africans. You see the same people supporting this national team from side. We see some people supporting Russia so different. If you support Russia, why don't you support Burkina Faso? If you support Ukraine, what's wrong for other Africans to support Burkina Faso? Because Burkina Faso is our brother country. Burkina Faso is African country, and that's why you saw Africans around the globe came together. And this is a big and clear message to all our leaders that when you do good things, even you are not maybe a leader of maybe country A or country B, the people will accept, will appreciate. Captain Ibrahim Traore is not a leader of African Union, is not a leader of the entire continent, is a leader of Burkina Faso. But what he's doing is what the majority of Africans want to see. So our leaders, stop arresting fellow Africans or your citizens because of supporting Captain Ibrahim Traore. Captain Ibrahim Traore is not a terrorist. Captain Ibrahim Traore is not a jihadist. Captain Ibrahim Traore is our prophet right now. You have to understand, Captain Ibrahim Traore is our liberator. Captain Ibrahim Traore came to wake up Africans. You see right now, Africans around the globe are awakening. Captain Ibrahim Traore came to unite Africans. You see? So our leaders, please, let us not arrest your people because of Captain Ibrahim Traore. Let us support Captain Ibrahim Traore. We are tired of being beggars, of being disrespected. But through Captain Ibrahim Traore, we are going to return our respect. We are going to be respected by the entire world and other civilization. Right now, you see, even white people are copying from Captain Ibrahim Traore. Homeland.
That's a lesson to be learned, man. For real. We definitely learn a lesson. You're going to hear some more from this real soon. My name is John.